hopefully stay in time since we have started a bit in late. So the topic is about an operational IoT-based real-time slope stability forecast using a digital twin. My name is Luca Piciullo. Often I have the joke of the peach to remember my surname. The fruit, the peach, so it's Piciullo, but I decided to skip it, the photo, but I'm telling you anyway, the way to remember it. So I am a senior researcher at the Norwegian Geotechnical Institute here in Norway, even if I'm Italian. I'm also holding now an adjunct professorship position as associate professor at Oslo Met, the Metropolitan University here in Oslo, where we are having a geotechnical master course from this year. So let's start and moving forward in this topic. First of all, I'm going to describe a case study, and I'm going to tell you that this case study started in 2016 with sensors being installed, and this was a site where they wanted to expand the railway line, to double the line. Then a first conference paper was published in 2018. Then I took over as a work package leader in this project called Klima 2050, and then with the help of other colleagues, we wrote a publication about the modeling of this slope. And then recently, thanks to the help of, this case study has been part of an EU project called the HUT. And now, like 10 days ago, this paper has been finally published that describe the operational system and how we are doing this real-time slope stability forecast using a digital twin. And this is the topic for today. What's the aim then? Is to use real-time hydrological monitoring, available meteorological and hydrogeological data, and doing hydrological and geotechnical modeling, and use data-driven machine learning models to forecast the stability of this slope in real time. And this case study, it shows, and it's a first attempt to integrate different critical aspects into an automatic Internet of Things based local Landslide early warning system. So first of all, what is Internet of Things in the context of warning and landslide warning is the use of different sensors that are hopefully strategically placed in the landslide area to collect data in real time and to make this data available for analysis and interpretation, and then to use this data in real time to issue alerts and warnings. So this is a definition of how we can use IoT in the context of landslide warning. And then I want to spend one slide actually on structure of a landslide early warning system. There are different contributions in literature where different authors and papers have schematized the main components of landslide early warning system. Here is a small review. What is important, and I want to highlight here, is that there are these 5 aspects or components that are recurrent in these papers, and these are monitoring, modeling, forecasting, warning, and response. So we see here that a landslide early warning system is not only including technical aspects, but also social aspects. So keeping the same main components here, we have proposed a framework of main phases to develop an IoT-based slope stability modeling and forecast, and also to provide warning. So here we are kind of defining what to do in the different main components of a landslide early warning system. You need to monitor some variables, hydrological variables, climate variables. You need to have parameters, soil, vegetation, hydraulic parameters. You need to build your model, calibrated, validated. So you need to build both hydrological model and the slope stability model, and then perhaps you may need some machine learning algorithm to kind of and then use the data and get the information for forecasting climate variables, and then perhaps defining the conditions leading to failure and predict if the slope is going to fail or not, and issue warnings, and eventually, finally, emergency plan. Let's see how we have practically applied this kind of this framework to a case study in Norway. This is the slope, as you can see in the photo, heavily vegetated. This case study has not shown any deformation. Possible movement is a rotational or translational landslide, mostly silt slide, flow slide, according to Hung classification. The possible velocity is rapid to very rapid. So this is the area. This is the monitored area. This is the railway line at the toe of the slope. This is the location of the sensors. I'm going to tell you what type of sensors we have in a minute. But here I want to point out that we have done some in situ geotechnical investigations carrying out CPTU. And here you can clearly see that the top, this is from the top of the slope. You can clearly see that the first 10 meters are like coarser material, and then below is more firm, is marine clay. Then we have characterized the upper part of the slope. Since it's in the partially saturated conditions, we have built, we've done pressure plate tests, and then we have interpolated the results using the Wangen-Newton equation. And then on the right, you can see what are the geotechnical parameters that we have used for the analysis. Then this is the practical IoT structure that we have used to build our real-time slope stability forecast model. So we are monitoring something. We are monitoring for water pressure and water content and other atmospheric variables. All these data are collected in real time in the NGI Live. NGI Live is a web platform collecting data and making the data available for analysis. So our digital twin is getting data from NGI Live, running the analysis, and then sending back the results of the analysis in NGI Live, and then we are showing these results. So we have built a model. So this is a modeling of the slope. And this is within this digital twin. Then we are getting information on the forecasted meteorological variables that goes into the digital twin. And then we run our model, and then we are able to publish the results and issue warnings if threshold values are exceeded. Threshold value of both factor of safety and on the hydrological variables we are monitoring. So water pressure and volumetric water content. So how the cloud service is deployed. So this digital twin is a cloud service and is forecasting the slope stability for the upcoming 3 days. So every day it does the forecast for the upcoming 3 days. Azure functions are used to deploy this cloud service, and it's automatically triggered every day. And then we use Grafana to show as a dashboard to show the results. Let's see how much time I have, and I'm going to show you also the how the dashboard looks like. Now I want to spend at least a minute describing what our digital twin is and what is needed to make a forecast. So we are monitoring meteorological and hydrological variables in real time. We have used the data set, the historical data set, to build a model of the slope, and with GeoStudio, and then we have computed the factor of safety. We have used machine learning data-driven models, considering the monitored data as features and the factor of safety as target. We have trained the machine learning data-driven models, two models, polynomial regression and random forest, to compute the factor of safety. And then we are using forecasted meteorological and hydrological data that goes into the trained machine learning data-driven models, and then we are able to make the forecasts of the factor of safety and the hydrological variables for the upcoming 3 days. So this is how it's structured. I need to remove the pointer, otherwise it doesn't work. So the monitoring, let's talk about what are we monitoring. We have piezometers installed. You see them in blue here on the left. Only the first one is of interest because in the fluctuation area of the water table. Then we have water content sensors installed in the partially saturated area. And then we have a small meteorological station for different climate variables. Here is the slope, is pretty steep in the upper part, 45 degrees, heavily vegetated, as you can see. And this is the sensors, tools, and data loggers we have on top of the slope. Then we have done the modeling. So we have built this model using a coupling, SIP, transient, and slope for 1 year period on a daily basis analysis. And using as input for this 1 year of analysis on a daily basis, precipitation, air temperature, snow depth, relative humidity, wind speed, solar radiation and albedo, and also leaf area index, root depth, and vegetation height. So these are the inputs, all the input, meteorological and vegetation, and then we are computing the factor of safety in time. And then we have done a validation. So we have varied parameters, and then we were trying to see which one of the different results from the different models was the best in back calculating what we were monitoring. Usually you see something like this in literature where you compare the results of your model with what you are observing. In this case, it's the blue line. But honestly, it's very complicated to tell what is the best model to replicate what you are measuring. So I think a better way of doing it is to compare a measured and observed, measured and modeled data is to use Taylor diagrams that they look like that. And they are based on the computation of the correlation coefficient, the normalized standard deviation, the root mean, square difference, and the bias. So we have done that. We have checked which one was the best model to use. Then we have further improved our results, carrying out a sensitivity analysis of the hydraulic conductivity, specifically of the anisotropy of the hydraulic conductivity in the two direction, and also on varying the value of the saturated horizontal hydraulic conductivity for the 3 different layers. And then I don't have so much time. I don't have time to go into details here, but you can check the publication to learn more about how we have done these things and how we have built our reliable model or a model that we trust. And this is the results of the best model. In blue, you see the observed, the measured value of the water content at the 6 different depths. And in orange is the results of our back calculation. This is 1 year of analysis. And then this is the pore water pressure at 6 meter depth, where we have the fluctuation of the water table. Then this is the results in terms of factor of safety in time on a daily basis. Then what else we have done? We couldn't use the GeoStudio on the flight in the cloud. So to bypass that, we have trained data-driven machine learning models. So we are running in the cloud in real time the machine learning data-driven models. Now, these models have been based on these 5 one-year databases, 3 from past scenarios and 2 using future scenarios. The meteorological and vegetation variables are the same that I told you before that we used in the first model that we set up. So we have used it, and then we have computed the factor of safety. So in this way, we had a larger database that was used to train our machine learning models. Then the variables are these 10 features: hydrological variables and meteorological variables. The target was the factor of safety. We tested different machine learning models, but we ended up picking 2, polynomial regression and random forest. Then we divided the data set in 3 different groups, having 4 1-year data set as training and 1 to predict, and varying the predicting one, basically. So what we did, we basically took these 4 1-year databases. Then we were training our model, and then we were validating the model using a never seen 1-year data set. And then we ended up defining which one was the best group to use to predict the factor of safety with the polynomial regression data-driven model and with the random forest. So for the polynomial regression was group 3. So, and here you can see how on the left you see the factor of safety modeled using the polynomial regression, and here is the factor of safety using GeoStudio. So the test dataset and the validation dataset are pretty much aligned on this curve. So it means that the model was kind of good in predicting the factor of safety that we were modeling using GeoStudio. So this was with polynomial regression. With random forest, we ended up using the, and you can see that it's the best among the other ones. Now, so we have our trained data-driven models. Then we need to make also forecasts for the volumetric water content and pore water pressure. And to do that, we have used a code which is available online, a Python code, a code called Pasta that is written in Python. And it basically provides a framework for the analysis of time series data in hydrology. It uses transfer functions noise that tries to explain an observed time series, in our case, volumetric water content and pore water pressure, by different observed time series. And the different observed time series that we have used are the ones that are listed here. So we were able to predict our factor of safety. This is how it looks like, the correspondence between the observed and the modeled volumetric water content at 6 different depths and the pore water pressure using pastas, and also our forecast in at the end of every graph. And then, so making a recap on how we are doing this calculation in real time of the factor of safety. Let's imagine that we are here at the time of the run. Then we get the past 365 days of hydrological data and meteorological data that goes into pastas, together with the 3 days forecast of meteorological data. And then we are able to predict the volumetric water content at 6 different depths and the pore water pressure. And this goes as input into the pre-trained data-driven machine learning models, together with information from temperature, leaf air index. And then we are able to compute the factor of safety for the rolling 3 days. So this is how we have done things. I can quickly show the video if it goes. I'm not able to run the video, unfortunately. Oh yeah, it's running, great. So here you have different tabs. So you can see that the tab is showing the map, and then there is other tabs showing the slope cross section, and then there is another tab showing the digital twin results. So in the digital twin predictions tab, we see the factor of safety for the upcoming 3 days with the 2 different machine learning models. And then you see also the adimensionalized value of the volumetric water content and pore water pressure. So if that value is exceeding 1, then we know that it has the highest observed value in 1 year. And then here we are comparing the pore water pressure and the salt water content with what we are monitoring, with what we are modeling, predicting. So prediction is the dotted lines, and continuous line is what we are monitoring. Then conclusions, takeaway 1 out of 2. We have seen an approach to define a framework to define an IoT-based digital twin, local Landslide early warning systems, and then the importance of using monitored data to back calculate the hydrological condition and to build a model that you trust. And then in this case, we have created a stability forecast that is fully based on hydrological and meteorological condition, not on the formation. So you can know more on this reading the paper. Second takeaway, the possibility of using volumetric water content, pore water pressure, climate variables, and vegetation, I would add, to predict the factor of safety using machine learning data-driven models as proxy of GeoStudio. And then I showed you we were able to define this automatic procedure to compute the factor of safety for the rolling 3 days. And this last point, I think it's important, is this work is a result of a collaborative effort between different expertise like geotechniques, hydrology, meteorology, instrumentation, and informatics. If you want to know more about this last part, this paper has been recently published like 10 days ago, so you can look for the title online and you would find it's open access. Both of them are open access. Thank you very much. This was my presentation. I don't know how it works, if there are questions or not, but let me know. Or you can send me an email if you want to know more, or yeah, thanks.